This is Pants for Squares 41, and this is my review on the Gameface Recon E5 marker. This is now my favorite marker out of the three I've done a review on because of the cool M16 body style and just the way the gun works and everything. So this is a little overview on kind of how it works and what it's like. So first it's got this cool 14-inch M16 barrel. It's spider thread, so that's kind of nice. It fits on all this kind of spider stuff I have. And it has this cool M16 grip and the sight. And the front is disconnectable, so you can actually put on other sights and stuff. And it's got threads right there, and you can see those. And it's also got a mounting rail on the bottom for like a flashlight or like a bipod or something like that. Or maybe a laser pointer or whatever. The next thing is the trigger on this. It's electronic, but it's not that fast. It's only 18 or 10 balls a second, so that's not very fast. But yeah, it's pretty simple mechanism though. At least it's just press and hold that, turns to green, and then you press it once and it turns red, and it's ready to fire. And so there it goes. It's actually pretty light trigger. And it's kind of cool with these little lightning holes in it, so it looks kind of cool. But other than that, it's still all interchangeable between Spider, so you can stick a Spider E trigger into it and, you know, go a little bit get your faster if you prefer a faster gun. I actually really don't mind this one. Next is the buttstock. It's adjustable to 3 positions, kind of a smaller one, medium, and a longer one. I like to keep it at the medium just because the way how long my arms are and stuff, but that's kind of nice and makes it kind of easier to shoot. Next is the authentic M16 cocking lever back here. It's kind of cool because it's like you pull it back and you can cock it like that, and then it's kind of just basically cocks the gun that way. It's kind of cool. It looks kind of cooler. And then you go boom, and it shoots, and you can pull it back again, and it goes back and shoots. So that's kind of cool. The next thing is this handrail thingy. It's also part of the aimer. You know, it's got the aimer right there in front of it. And it's actually all adjustable, so it's not like one of those cheap plastic ones. It's all metal, so it's not gonna like break on you instantly like some of those cheap plastic ones. So that's kind of nice. The next thing is it has a side feed neck, so that doesn't get in the way of your sight rail and all that stuff. I have a Ricochet AK hopper for it. It's actually not the agitated one, it's the one that has the lights, the UV lights for glow balls, you know, like night games and whatever. So that's kind of nice. The only problem is that since this thing shoots 10 balls a second, and this is pretty much gravity fed then, it's only 8 balls, so once in a while I'll chop a ball. So I'm looking for a new hopper for that. But the nice thing about this one is I built my own angled feed neck for it, so because I didn't feel like buying those cheap plastic ones, so I made one out of nice aluminum, and it's welded together, and it's got a little clamp on the end, so it's pretty simplistic stuff. And that slides on there. The only problem is it does scratch up the feed neck, like the black anodized feed neck, but I don't really care too much because it's not like you see it when you're playing. So that's kind of nice, and it's got kind of a slit open there to let the air flow out instead of shooting the balls back up there. So, yep, that's the hopper and stuff. Next I have this sight rail that came with the gun, and then I bought a red dot scope for it, which is kind of cool. Makes everything a little bit easier to shoot and stuff, and then it's got a rail here, a rail on top, a little bit higher rail raised up here, and there used to be one on the side, but I used that little screw for attaching my barrel plug. So that's that. And this one, it's got a little screw on the bottom that you use, and you just unscrew that real quick, and that pops off like that. There we go. That has a little thing there, and a washer that comes off right there. And then you grab this, turn the gun over, and then you stick it on top there, like that. And then it's kind of hard to do it with one hand, so I'll actually screw on the other stuff later. But yeah, that's how that goes on. You just stick the washer and little nut screw thing on. And so then that's the little sight rail and stuff, so that's kind of cool looking. The next I have a pod pack from Reds. It has 4 pods right there, and then it also has a pouch for the HPA tank. I stick a 48 cubic inch air tank in there, and then I also bought an Extreme Rage remote line for it, and it's kind of nice. It's kind of like those ones on eBay called Ups, the Ups remote lines. It's much kind of like that one. It's because some of the other ones are kind of cheap and they kind of suck. But yeah, this one's kind of cool. It also has a quick disconnect line right there. You pull that back and pop it out, and it pushes out and stuff. So that's that. And then, so that'll, you know how that works pretty easily. It just screws straight into the back of your gun, like that. And then it also makes everything much lighter because you're carrying the tank on your back instead of with your gun, which this gun itself is actually kind of heavy, so for the weaker players I don't recommend this, but for me it's fine. And so then that connects on there like that. And then, like all my other reviews, I also have these gun stands that I make for them, and here I'll show you how these ones work. I got a little box I can use to kind of prop it up, and here's the box for the Recon. And then this one actually right now doesn't fit it, only because it doesn't have a tank on the back, and that's how this one's designed. Is the back little angle right here is designed for the tank to fit in there, and only if it's attached to here. So that one I don't use. So I made this other stand right here. You can kind of see like that. It has basically 2 hooks, and this way I can use the remote line and still have a stand for my gun. And I'll stick it on there and show you how it works. There's that one, like that. So it kind of fits right on there like that, and then I can have take off my pod pack, you know, when I'm playing, and just have it hang loose like that. And so that's how that one works. So that is my gun, and I will show you how it works. Okay, this is my shooting test on the Gameface Recon E5. So here it goes. Let's try it out. Hold on. Like I said earlier in the video, I don't have a agitated hopper, so it's not going to go very fast. Jam probably a lot. Okay, I'm out. So that's my Recon E5. So post your comments and let me know what you think about this gun. Alright.